3rd, 5:36. I'll issue the oath of office to our two returning board members. You want to maybe go against this wall, or wherever you want? You take a picture at this time, or
Wherever you'd like to do it.
By Tom Farrell.
I can get out of the way.
Picture always looks like a Farrell.
I'll read the oath. You'll affirm the oath and then sign on
I
it.
think
For that.
we got a little bit of hot water because she's a little bit shorter than I am. We got a lot of jokes and stuff like that. We split it with the flag.
Can you just sit down?
Well, we had a little slope to the floor, maybe. Can you stand in a chair?
Yeah, you can, somebody can sit.
You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota, that you will faithfully and impartially perform your duties as a member of the school board of the Madison Central School District, Lake County, South Dakota, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office or until your successor is elected and qualified? You'll sign on your elected line.
Go, Steve. I'll provide the ink.
Oaths are kept on file in the district office. That all works? Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Let me just say you were further away from the camera.
And at this time, we'll call for nominations for the board president position. Does anyone have a nomination they'd like to make?
This is for president, right?
Yep.
I nominate Tom Farrell.
I'll second.
Actually, we need a second for you. If there's no other nominations, we can make a, somebody want to make a motion, a nomination cease and unanimous ballot be cast.
So moved.
Second. Charlie seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
I'll abstain.
I'll abstain.
I just didn't know if we had enough money in the budget to make a new rubber stamp,
Appreciate you watching the pennies, Miller.
but I'm here for it.
All right.
Mr. Earl, you got the,
Thank you very much, folks, for that opportunity.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
At this time, then, we go ahead and call for nominations and election for vice president. I don't welcome any nominations.
Nominate Cameron Sims.
I have a nomination of Cameron Sims. Any other nominations at this time? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion then that we nominate, the nominations cease and we cast a unanimous ballot for Cameron Sims as our vice president. So moved by Mrs. Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of casting unanimous ballot signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that congratulations and thank you, Cammie, very much. Item number 6 then is approval of the agenda. We have one minor addition to the agenda that Mr. Schaefer, you want to talk about, or?
We have a teaching contract that we are adding and came in this afternoon. Mr. Jeff Hagee has accepted the social studies and assistant track position for a total salary of $40,911.
So that would be added to when we get to the personnel portion of that.
And request for hire. Yeah.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Jeff Hagee, H-E-G-G-E, social studies and assistant track, $40,911.
All right, so with that, I think the rest of our agenda would be set. I'd entertain a motion that we approve the agenda. So moved by Mrs. Thompson. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Moore. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that our agenda has been approved. Personnel actions, lots of them. Many good new
You want me
ones.
to go through it? All?
Probably that would be good.
All right, in the request for hire, we have the opportunity to present Kelsey Smith as 5th grade teacher to replace Suzanne Vandenberg. Kelsey's salary is $33,780, and Kelsey will also be the boys and girls basketball cheer coach for $3,158. Stephanie Moore is high school counselor to replace Craig Peterson at $38,980. Aaron Riedel as Title I ENL teacher at $39,180. Jonathan Forster as temporary tech summer help at $11.25 an hour. And Carlos Gonzalez as a custodian at $11 per hour. And then we added Jeff Hagee already as social studies assistant track for $49.11. Then in the area of contract changes, we have a number of people moving across and professionally. Katie Wheelwright from BA to BA 15 for a salary of $35,607. She also dropped 9th grade girls volleyball, but she added assistant varsity volleyball. Mike Rickey, BA plus 30 to MA plus 15 for a total salary of $48,400. Katie Abraham from BA to BA plus 15, total salary of $38,500. Maxine Unbrunner is dropping varsity girls basketball and then she's taken on 9th grade girls basketball. Joe Bundy is adding varsity boys tennis for a salary of $3,052. Lindsay Dealer is dropping assistant varsity freshman, but she's adding assistant varsity girls basketball. And Betsy Schauber is taking on an assignment as assistant cross-country coach for $29.31. So you're right, Mr. President, a lot of changes there, a lot of contract adjustments as well. Our recommendation is that you approve those.
Okay, we have recommendation of administration to approve personnel actions, item number 7. Is there such a motion?
I'll move.
So moved by Mr. Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Further questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying yes, or for the personnel actions. Yes, if you're listening, see, okay. Opposed? No.
I abstain.
And we have 1 abstention. Okay. Item number 8 then is consider open enrollment applications 16-1 through 16-06.
So once we've done this. All right, we have 5 of these. 1601 is let's see, coming in from Chester, and will be a kindergarten. 1602 is coming in from Chester as well. Will also be a kindergartner. We have one that's coming in, 1603 is, this one doesn't really tell me what they are, but I believe that's kindergarten as well. And they're, have been, well, they're an Arlington address, which doesn't really tell us where they're between Madison and Arlington. And then we have 1604. That is coming out of Coleman, kindergartner, going to join a child or sibling that's already attending school here. And this 1605 is coming into kindergarten, and they have an under address. So we certainly hope, I don't want to go yet. And 1606 is coming in from community of Wentworth, and didn't mark the grade level either. I believe it's kindergartner though. So, a nice number of open enrollments, and we appreciate those. Our recommendation would be to approve those.
So the administration has recommended the approval of open enrollment applications 16-1 through 1606. Is I entertain a motion for that?
So moved.
Mrs. Thompson moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Haig. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare the motion has passed. Hearing of our delegations, we'll leave that. Number 10, administrators report.
I think I'm the only one reporting, and you can talk to me, get your handbook right. The report I have is going to be brief, and the fact that I've been monitoring the progress on the bus garage, and if you've driven by there, you see it, and it looks large, and no doubt about it. Progress today is moving along really quite well. The cement is in part of it. The office area and the storage area is in. The first bay for the shop is in. The next one has yet to go. And the in-floor heat and insulation is in place. So, I mean, it's really come along. Overhead doors has been here. They brought their, the doors, a large number of doors and door hardwares, and they were working on that this morning. We were over there about 11:30, and it was about, it was a little warm in there. And we were, Brad, I believe, took over a big cooler of Gatorade type. We get a sample of that every now and then, so we put it to good use. And that's the second time that we've taken that over there, and they really do appreciate that, even though they all come with water and jugs and everything else. But we appreciate their work. A lot of, some outside work has been done, shaping of the land a little bit has been started, certainly a long ways from being finished, and moved some dirt and hauled some things away. And in addition to that, we did have come to an agreement that there is some old signs of past deposits in the trees, in the shelter belt that runs north and south. There's a mound or two there. We don't really know what's in there. We're hoping it's nice black dirt, and it'll be used. If it's refuse, so to speak, from previous projects that somebody has taken liberty to put there, it will be moved away. So the short of the story is the project is on target for finishing on or before August 15th. We talked today about contacting 3 local vendors about the removal of the old bus garage, and we'll be seeking a figure to demolish the old bus garage. The gas company has been up to visit and check the site, so to speak, because there's obviously we need natural gas at the new bus garage, and we no longer need it at the old one. And so there'll be some of that kind of work that has to take place as well. While we still need it at the community center, or not the community center, gymnastics center, those 2 buildings have been kind of feeding off of each other, so to speak, power-wise and sewer-wise and et cetera. So we have to make sure that some of that stays intact and below the surface, because that will become the parking lot area. We anticipate, we don't know until you really get in there and measure and get to work on it. Well, we're anticipating additional parking spaces between 75 to 100, because it will be not only where the old bus garage is located, but where we back buses in and out of the garage has not been allowed to be parking there, even though they like to park there during events. But also around the gymnastics building as well, that will be formed up and cleaned up into parking around that building as well. So we anticipate a nice number of additional parking spaces on campus, which comes at a great time as the city continues to prepare for changes both on our south side and on our north side, so on 11th Street and 9th Street out here. And parking only on one side, I believe, on 11th. Had some discussion today about the sidewalk business, still questions. So it's evolving, it's working along very well, and certainly optimistic that it will be completed on time. And then I did take the time to go, actually Tom Farrell and I and Adam Shaw went to the city and to the county, and Van Gann also accompanied us to the city to express our appreciation and communicate our progress with the SRO, and the fact that we're in I think month number 7 of a 3-year agreement, and it's working very well. And if the next 2.5 years go as smoothly and effectively as the first 6 months did, that's going to be a great move. We already appreciate it tremendously, and the security of having Officer Gann with us as the SRO, and the position and the value that it's contributed already to to the relationships and the confidence building and the trust that's gone on. As he goes about his business now this summer as a city police officer, he continues to see our children, our students, and work with them, and that's a very positive thing. So we do appreciate that, so we publicly thank the city council, as did we did the same thing in the following 2 weeks to the county commissioners. And a great discussion and a lot of appreciation and smiling faces at both meetings. So just wanted you to know that. That's it.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Schaefer on the administrative report?
Parking lot on the south side looks great.
Does look good, doesn't
It's
it?
really good.
Yeah, the gentleman did a nice job. Looks like it sealed it up quite well. We're hoping to get 5 years, 7 years of service out of that parking lot. Yeah, we did, I can't remember. We had Sayer come by, Sayer Engineering, because they work with the city, they're in town. So they came by. I got to meet Mr. Sayer, who was a graduate of Madison Central High School. And so we let the younger generation walk the parking lot, do the examination, and we just talked and visited. But they reported that south parking lot is probably better than it looks. It's got a great base. If we keep moisture from entering it and getting underneath it, it might last a number of years. What we see primarily as users are the curbs. And some of the curb areas have gotten to be rather less than desirable. So we did fix some of that. We didn't fix it all, but we cleaned it up and painted it, and it does look very nice. And along with that, I neglected to tell you too that the middle school has been completed with the, what do we call that now? Solar guard. It used to be a last one something, but now they call it solar guard. In other words, it's been painted in the same color, similar color to the high school, so some commonality all around.
That really added to, it makes this a complete looking building.
Yeah, it made it all look real positive.
Get that heater today and it smells like a new parking lot out there.
I did notice that as well.
In fact, I almost looked at my shoes when I came in to be sure I wasn't bringing part of it. All right, anything else on the administrator's report? Then we go into a series of consent items, which does not mean, or grouping of items together, it does not mean that we can't discuss any of them individually. The first one is the designation of our official newspaper, being the Madison Daily Leader. Item number 12 is designation of bank depositories. We use Wells Fargo, First Bank and Trust, Great Western, Dakota Land, and East River Federal Credit Union. Number 13 is to appoint Mr. Brooks as treasurer of all of our funds and authorize him to sign all checks approved by the board, including our trust and agency and our imprest funds. Appoint me as the president as a co-signer of the check, and authorize Superintendent Schaefer or another board member to sign in the absence of either myself or Mr. Brooks. Bonding employees, Mr. Brooks for $100,000, activities director for $15,000. Designation of our legal counsel to continue to be Lammers and Kleibecker. And again, appoint Mr. Brooks as authorized representative for our food service program, our title programs, and our IDEA federal funding applications. And then Mr. Schaefer, the superintendent, as authorized representatives for all other federal and state programs. So those are items 11 through 16. Anything you'd wish to pull out of there and discuss further?
So do we need an authorized Superintendent Schaefer or another board member? Do we need to decide if it's Mr. Schaefer or another board member, or how does that work?
Usually when we have a check moved in the past years is if myself or Mr. Farrell's gone, then if Mr. CRP's gone, he'll usually be the second signer, but if he's gone, then it'll be another board member that we can do the whole, make sure we can get checks issued. And it generally falls in line with payroll.
I mean, can it be any in that situation?
Yeah.
Any board member?
Yeah.
doesn't- Okay, that's what I was wondering if
Because we would have to sign up the bank on the same day.
Gotcha.
Good question, Sean. Anything else, 11 through 16? If not, I accept a motion then that we would approve those items 11 through 16.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Further questions or discussion? All in favor of approval of those consent items 11 through 16 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Another grouping, number 17, approve of joining of the Associated School Boards Emergency School Bus PAC Assistance. We've been a member of that. That basically says if we're out and need a bus, or if a district is here and needs a bus, that we would, through that PAC, we would work with those. There also is a link to all of the staff salaries, both certified and classified and administrative. And then we probably want to spend a little time on item 19, adjusting or looking at our standing committees. And then the item number 20 is the surplus property appraisers for 2016, being Mr. Franken, Mr. Hanemichael, and Mr. Fodds. So if we, I guess I take the liberty to have us take a look at number 19 before we take any formal action with a motion for approval, etc. Mrs. Thompson has made a request that maybe someone else fill her responsibilities right now on the Ed Foundation Board. She has been the first sitting board member who's been a part of our Ed Foundation Board. It's not a part of their bylaws, is my understanding, that we have to have a board member on there, but we certainly, it is an opportunity for a board member to participate there. We also, still as a part of that though, Mr. Schaefer and Mr. Brooks both serve as ex officio members on that. So I guess maybe I'd open it up if there's anyone who would like to serve on the Ed Foundation Board.
It's a good board to be on. I just have a lot going on at work. It's hard for me to get away from meetings.
They usually meet on Wednesdays, and they're kind of settling in at 11:30. And recently they've been meeting right here at school. From my perspective, they do sometimes drop it on the meeting date where I have superintendents and Fleck in Sioux Falls. So, but either Mitch or I, and recently Mitch and Nora, I have been there for one or two of their meetings. I plan on going this Wednesday, though I've got it on my calendar, and I don't have a conflict at this point.
Anyone feel strongly one way or the other that they'd like to be a part of that?
And you can let Mrs. Weeks know.
Okay, otherwise we'll just leave that as an open seat and let them fill it through their normal nomination process then. Thank you for your service on that, Jenny. I guess maybe the other one that we want to look at is Mr. Moore. We probably remove you from certified negotiations at this time, and would look for someone to replace him, and whoever would be willing to replace Mr. Moore on certified negotiations, he would take that spot. Does that sound agreeable?
Yep.
Is there somebody that can move from another
That's
part of that negotiation into that position?
Chris,
Trade?
yeah, could we, that's what I was just gonna ask,
Why
if
do
we
you
could
do
just
that?
swap.
Because my wife is going to be working as a certified.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Okay, so Steve, then we take you off the administration, put you on with the certified folks, and then Charlie, you'd be on with the administration. Are there other assignments on there that either administration or board members see that we would want to make changes to? This is your opportunity. Pardon?
What was the question?
Is any other changes you'd like to see made in either your own in your own assignments on those standing committees?
Eric Fritz.
What?
Who's Eric Fritz? Under activities.
The ag guy.
I forgot about it. Been a while ago.
Thank you, Mr. Shelby. Other questions or changes you'd like to see made?
I forgot about committee.
This is under activities.
Oh, okay.
Then, hearing none, I would, any other discussion on items 17 through 20? Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion that we approve those consent items 17 through 20 with the changes discussed in the committee assignments. So moved by Mrs. Thompson, second by Mr. Moore. Further questions, discussions, or changes? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of those items 17 through 20 signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Item number 21 then. Now, do these require action, Mitch, or?
It's another group, 21 through 25.
Okay, that part didn't print on mine, I'm sorry. All right, items 21 through 25. Designate regular board meeting, second Monday of every month. The 5:30 seemed to work well for everyone. Okay. Food service, Mr. Brooks.
We have the tool that the state provides us that meet federal requirements. And the minimum increase is 10 cents, and we fall in line to that 10-cent increase. And I put just a little chart up there. That's usually what we publish on our website and have available at registration so families can see what it costs their students per month and a little comparison to how it compared to the prior year on that.
Okay, and then we have two agreements with Madison Community Hospital, one for therapy services and a second for professional nursing services. The amounts of increase were noted, what we paid for the current school year, what we're going to have to pay. Anything else you want to add to that, either Mr. Brooks or Mr. Schaefer?
And everything else stayed the same as prior years.
Okay.
Just a change in rate.
And then item number 24 is to basically adopt the fact that our policies are in place and the action makes official the district's policies for the year. However, it means that we can make additions or revisions as we see through the course of the year. And then item number 25 is acknowledgement of the handbooks. We saw Mrs. Guzzi's last month. We have seen the middle school one. Mr. Shaw sent out, we were able to view his changes that were done in yellow. Any comments, Mr. Shaw, that you want to make or questions that folks have?
I sent what we did. It wasn't anything too major. One thing we are going to not do is we're going to cut the academic probation at the high school. I've got a lot of data that shows that it's not getting done what it needs to get done, and we're losing about 35 contact hours with kids in a classroom. So with all the mandates we have pushed down on us, we really need to probably use that contact time with the kids more at this point. So we're going to reinstitute, we're going to put Pride back in every Friday, so we still have that time to work with them. It just isn't going to be right away in the morning.
But some of those kids are going to be in the alternative setting too.
Correct, yeah. Yeah. So.
Other questions on the high school handbook before we move on? Mr. Hanemichael, you want to talk about your technology book?
There's not a whole lot of changes. The biggest one was we took out one that said you don't need to buy a modem because it's in the computer, and so none of our computers have, for a dial-up connection. There's one other one where we changed folder to folders, and that was really about it. Otherwise, everything's fairly generic, so that every year we don't have to keep rewriting it.
Okay, so any questions before we acknowledge the handbooks?
So the 10-cent food service rate changes, that's required by the state.
By the federal government.
Federal government.
With the free and reduced program, to hold that program.
Okay.
We have to make sure that as they increase their what they provide us for free and reduced meals, that we have to be moving ours along with that same rate.
Okay.
Why would we not do that?
The last few years, we've applied for that waiver, and we have to apply extents. It depends on if our cash flow is getting high, but we have to still make sure we show our local effort is being maintained each year. If we continue on with that 5 cent, we won't make our local effort and put our reimbursements into that free.
Other questions or discussion, items 21 through 25, either we want to pull out or discuss further? Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion that we approve the consent items 21 through 25.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Miller, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Further questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye for the approval of those consent items 21 through 25. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that those consent items have been approved. Set the date for the board planning and goal setting retreat. We had tentatively talked about possibly August 24th as a Monday, if needed, and August 31, keeping in mind that August 24th is the open house day in the district. Thoughts there? Do we want to stay 24? Do we want to wait till 31? Look at your calendars and
I'm fine with 24, yeah.
okay. 24 appear to be
Works for me.
good with everyone? As good as it will get?
You with young kids, that's the one. That's the question.
Why, where's our young kids, the kids are not gonna be at school yet, or
Open
what?
house.
Right.
Oh,
Open house day.
And there's only one open house day?
Yeah.
Correct.
It's during the day, not,
Is there what, are we?
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right.
it's
It
the
is
night
open by
before the
then.
first day of school.
Yeah.
It's the night before the first day of school.
It's the night before the first day of school, and is this like morning to noon, or is it noon to 4? Is
It's
there-
a Monday, so
I mean,
guess
our
we
meeting gonna
I
be-
don't know what's hours. I can't remember.
5 p.m. to, I wrote down.
I don't know, I know I have freshman orientation that night, but I can bop out and bop back in.
How about Monday the 3rd?
Monday the what?
The 3rd.
Is that everything?
Monday the 3rd of August.
Oh,
I will probably be in Virginia.
I would be going to.
17?
I'm out of state.
You're out of state. That's right, you're vacationing.
I'm between the 24th, is she not, are you not good with the 24th?
Just the night before the first day of school.
Are we, well, are we, is it an all-day meeting? I thought it is
It's
this
evening.
retreat.
It's evening.
We're trying to do it on an evening instead of taking another Saturday from me. I guess Vince and I have visited briefly. Do you want to just wait and try the 31st instead? And then if we need a second date,
Yeah, that might be good.
does that seem to work pretty much for everybody, 31? That maybe puts the pressure on us to try and get it done in one night, since we don't have the luxury of the second night. Okay? All right, so we'll go August 3-1. Do you want to go 5:30? Do you want to go 5:15? What's your plans? What works best for
The
both?
earlier the better for me, but it's just whatever works for everybody.
5:30 is fine.
Okay, we'll try and set it for 5:30 to 8:30 at the latest on August 31st. So I would entertain a motion to that effect. So moved by Mrs. Sims that we have our board planning and goal setting retreat on August 31st from 5:30 to 8:30. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Hague. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed, nay.
You want to ask about one, are they going to come hungry or are they going to come?
Do we want munchies probably? Most of you coming from work, I would assume?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
All right.
You're in charge again, Mr. Schaefer.
Steak and potatoes on the grill.
Forget it.
Perfect.
You can have that about 8:30?
All right, then the final item is an executive session for personnel matters. Questions from the media? If not, then we would entertain a motion that we go into executive session. So moved by Mr. Moore. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Sims. So we'll note a time as soon as we're done with. Chuck, you have a couple questions yet?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll indicate a time and vote once we're done here.